What if the secret to lasting change wasn't willpower or motivation, but starting small? In Tiny Habits, the small changes that change everything, BJ Fogg reveals how making small, incremental adjustments to our daily routines can lead to transformative results. This is the story of how I used the power of tiny habits to build momentum, reshape my behaviors, and create a life of growth and success. Fogg begins by challenging the traditional idea that big changes require big effort. He introduces the concept of starting small, making tiny adjustments to your daily routine to build habits effortlessly. The key is to make the behavior so easy that it's almost impossible to fail. I started by focusing on one small habit, flossing a single tooth each night. While it seemed trivial, the act of starting small created a ripple effect. Once I flossed one tooth, it felt natural to continue, and soon I was flossing all of them. Fogg's insights helped me see that success isn't about doing everything at once, but about building momentum through small wins. This chapter taught me that big changes start with small actions. By lowering the barrier to entry, I could create habits that felt effortless and sustainable. Fogg explains that successful habits are anchored to existing routines. By pairing a new behavior with something you already do regularly, you can create a natural cue that triggers the habit. I began anchoring new habits to my existing routines. For example, after brushing my teeth, I would do one push-up. After making my morning coffee, I would write down one thing I was grateful for. These anchors made it easier to remember and integrate the new habits into my day without disrupting my routine. This chapter reminded me that habits thrive on consistency. By anchoring new behaviors to established routines, I could create a structure that supported long-term success. Fogg emphasizes the importance of celebrating small wins. Positive reinforcement, he explains, helps solidify new habits by creating a sense of accomplishment and joy. Whether it's a fist pump, a smile, or a verbal affirmation, celebrating reinforces the behavior and motivates you to continue. I started celebrating every tiny habit I completed, no matter how small. After doing a single push-up or flossing one tooth, I would smile and say, "Good job." These moments of celebration created a positive association with the habit and made me look forward to repeating it. This chapter taught me that acknowledging progress, no matter how small, is essential for building habits. By celebrating my wins, I could create a cycle of positivity and motivation. Fogg explains that emotions, not repetition, are the true drivers of habits. The more positive you feel about a behavior, the more likely it is to stick. He encourages readers to focus on creating habits that feel good rather than relying on sheer discipline. I began paying attention to how I felt during and after completing my tiny habits. If a habit didn't feel rewarding, I adjusted it to make it more enjoyable. For instance, I paired my morning gratitude practice with a favorite cup of coffee, making the experience more pleasant and rewarding. This chapter reminded me that habits are emotional. By focusing on positive feelings and creating enjoyable experiences, I could make my habits more sustainable and impactful. While consistency is important, Fogg stresses the value of flexibility in adapting habits to fit different circumstances. He introduces the concept of the tiny version of a habit, which allows you to maintain progress even on challenging days. I started creating tiny versions of my habits to keep them manageable. On busy days, instead of skipping exercise entirely, I would do one stretch or a single push-up. Instead of writing a full journal entry, I would jot down one sentence. These tiny versions help me stay consistent without feeling overwhelmed. This chapter taught me that flexibility is key to maintaining habits. By adapting to life's unpredictability, I could stay on track without sacrificing progress. Fogg emphasizes the importance of designing an environment that supports your habits. By removing friction and making desired behaviors easier, you can set yourself up for success. I began organizing my environment to encourage positive habits. I placed my running shoes by the door as a cue to exercise and kept healthy snacks within reach to support better eating habits. By making small adjustments to my surroundings, I reduced the effort needed to follow through on my intentions. This chapter reminded me that our environment shapes our behavior. By creating spaces that align with my goals, I could make positive choices more automatic and less burdensome. Fogg explains how tiny habits often lead to bigger changes. As small wins build momentum, they create a ripple effect that inspires confidence and encourages you to tackle larger goals. I noticed this ripple effect in my own life. Starting with a single push-up led to a full workout routine. Writing down one gratitude each morning sparked a deeper journaling practice. These small changes cascaded into significant improvements in my health, productivity, and overall well-being. This chapter taught me that tiny habits are the foundation of transformation. By focusing on small, consistent actions, I could create lasting change that extended far beyond the original habit. Tiny habits taught me that lasting change doesn't require massive effort or willpower. By starting small, anchoring habits, and celebrating successes, I transformed my behaviors and built a foundation for growth. How can you start incorporating tiny habits into your life? Remember, the key to change lies in simplicity, consistency, and a commitment to taking small steps every day.